Hello, hello. Today is April 24th, 2020, and I wanted to look at Ivanka. Um, I know that people have made some requests, and I've been trying to search those requests down out of all of the comments. I promise you I will get to your request, and I've got my notebook. Once I find it, I will write it down, and we will get to it. It's just, I didn't, and I should have written it down last night. I started getting really tired. And that happens, like I said, with healing these pressure wounds. So, my apologies, and I will get to those requests. That's why I look forward to getting the discussion tab so that I can ask you guys to leave your requests there, and I won't have to try to go look through all the comments, to find them. So once I can get that tab, that will be really great. But I have to have 1,000 subscribers and so many, I think it is, thousands of hours of watch time. But that will certainly be more handy. So I will get to that. I value your requests, and I just want you to know that and to understand how that happens right now, because unfortunately the way I have to go about it until I get that tab, I don't have the best means of organizing that open, which is kind of a pain in the butt. Pardon the pun, given my circumstances with these wounds. Anyway, so I wanted to continue to look at the three children. So this is going to be on Ivanka, okay? And then after I get this done and put this up, I will continue to read through the comments to catch those requests and write them down on my notebook and get those videos made as soon as I can. Okay? Want you to know that, and that I value your time and your efforts and thoughts. But I'll only put up with trolling so much. If I feel you're trolling, and there's somebody that I do feel is trolling, you're going to get blocked if you continue, because there's no reason anymore for this. Let me just say, if you are a Trump sympathizer, or you want to try to have some conversation that's going to go nowhere, and don't even bother. Just get gone. I do not have the time, the patience for that. I will make a comment, but if you continue down that path, or if I notice that, gone. I'm not putting up with it. Okay, so with that said, let's get on with it. Looking at Ivanka now. What do the cards want to tell us about Ivanka? And with regard to how things are going to end up for her. Because I see Jared looking at prison time. I see Don Jr., and I've always seen those two particularly have stood out as like that really strong, intuitive sense of prison being there. For those two, most definitely. Eric, I gotta tell you, I haven't really looked at him. The least favorite Trump. I like any of them are a favorite. But, I know that he did funny business with, God, of all things, money with St. Jude. I think, wasn't it St. Jude? It was for kids and cancer, or some kind of, he did something very wrong with the charitable funds there. It's just disgusting. It's like, can one of you just have some human decency for like a month, please? They couldn't do it. All right. Looking at Ivanka, let's tune in. Ivanka and her fate. Pardon the background noise of the wound vac. It can get a loud rumble. And thank you for being understanding. Ivanka. Ivanka. And her fate. How does Ivanka end up at the end of the day? That's what I want to know. I know they're all getting away with it right now, but I'm telling y'all, that's going to end. It really is. And I think it's going to shock us all just as, maybe close to as much as it's going to shock them, because we're like, my God, these people, when? And when we ask when, the reason why nothing's really going forward is because what was the Republican Party has become the Trump loyalist party. They're enabling him to do this. They are not working with Democrats to go, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Democrats are trying to impeach him, trying to get him to stop, but because they don't have the necessary help that they should, this party has insulated itself and insulated his power and made him be able to continue with his criminality of scorching the earth. And that now their fate is connected to him. That's all I can say. And I'm as angry as the rest about, like, this should never have happened. They should never have, no party should ever be able to do that. We need to have that bipartisan balance, but we haven't had that in a long time. And there's built up resentment, and then once their dude got in power, they, sealed the deal. They are no longer the Republican Party, they're not. They are Trump loyalists that are going to go down with the damn ship. It's too late, I'm telling you. But anyway, let's go to Ivanka. Ivanka, oh, do you go to jail? Maybe you can, make a new jumpsuit. Won't be able to use those Chinese sweatshops, though, will you, girl? Won't be able to make those children sew your shit. All those... She was known for ripping other designers off. She would steal their design, and this is... You can Google it, folks. And she was in trouble for that too. Just this family, just is a thieving, stealing, traitorous family. They will stab you in the back. Ivanka, how does she fare? I've got the cards upside down. Sorry. The Fool covers her atmosphere. And if these people are just not very savvy, they're just not very street smart, so to speak. Really, truly, they've lived in a bubble, and their reality truly is kind of it's sealed. That's why facts, none of that stuff matter. Because the only thing that matters is them being able to abuse their power and get the money and the whatever it is they want. But Ivanka is... she's going to also want to go screaming into the night away from this situation. Also, I get that about all of them. I can't imagine Eric will be any different. And they're all foolish. They've all taken a risk they've gone too far. Finally. It's only been there generations, 4 generations of them. That's a lot of criminal karma. That's truly what it is. And the universe apparently is putting on the brakes. That's what I get with my cards all the time. So, what crosses her is the Two of Cups as a challenge in her fate. Basis, 5 of Swords, cruelty. Crowned by the 6 of Wands, activities, things that she's done, that she's had an enthusiasm, her involvement. She's consciously involved, so, she knows that there's been cruelty going on. She's aware of that. That's at the base of the reading. I'm going to turn the camera a little more. I'm going to adjust it, and I know that it makes kind of a god-awful noise, so I'm warning you right now. I'm going to do it, so just kind of bear with me, and I apologize. Now, in her past, there is the Two of Swords. This is withdrawal. Mental withdrawal. Back into her bubble. Okay. Oops, sorry. There's such an amount of of just being in denial with this family. That also makes me feel like that. Interesting that was going to be a challenge for her is the Two of Cups. They have this family, oh my God. 7 of Cups. They are in La La Land. They have a lot of ideas, but they don't have the intelligence or the experience because they're lazy and they do everything the illegal manner, to skip steps. They don't know how to bring something that is positive to manifestation. They're scattered. And they're also just too wrapped up in their dreams and wishes, and what they want. Again, a problem with that versus reality. This cruelty, this ruthlessness, she's just been part of the ruthlessness of her family. And I think the one thing that has happened here in the recent past with this, especially this quarantine, is having to deal with yourself, having to sit with your own thoughts. And I think she's had to do a little bit more of that, but I think she also shuts off from it pretty quickly, as much as that when that starts to happen, it's kind of like, oh, she wants to run away from it. She wants to try to not, but she reaches for routinely the wrong thing, and she's taken big risks. And I think she's starting to maybe going to get some perspective on just what the consequences of what that risk when you take that risk, what the consequence of that not working out is. This could be also that it will challenge her relationship with her husband, challenge her relationships with her family, challenge her loyalty. Definitely get that. It will challenge her bonds, her marriage, and friendships and family. It's like this, it's like she's going to be a pariah. But she's still dreamy. She's still stupid about it here, I'm shown. She's still not quite getting it. Um, because there's this denial and this insistence on, oh, but this, but that, oh, what about, about not being able to get a grip on that. Hey, your whims don't matter anymore, woman. You are in trouble. Put down the Kool-Aid. This is her wanting her own business, her own income, and the appearance of being a successful business person and having the cushy life, the Kushner life, I guess. Um, this is what she wants she wants her own identity, and I think that she's going to try to somehow present herself apart at some point from her family, and that she's that's what is going to be on her mind anyway. Okay. Hate to tell you, girl, the stain does not, then the stank don't wash off. Stank is going to stick. She's just not getting it. And she remains still kind of in this dream world. That's from privilege. She can't handle reality. In her environment is the Empress. So, I don't know if this is her mother. I don't know if this is going to be about more along the lines of wealth, that sort of thing. We'll see. It's her environment, though. And it comes up with the issue of motherhood, of health and wealth. Let's just carry on a bit. Oh, surprise. Her concern is about money, and her fear is about money. Her hope is about money, and her fear is about money. These people, everything has to do with earthly overabundance. It's not just being comfortable or living a good life. It is luxuriant. It has to be luxuriant. It has to be resplendent. They don't even know what that word means, but in other words, tacky. Okay, the rest of it tacky. She wants to flee. She is going to try to escape circumstances. She's going to try to get out of much trouble as she can. It's going to be hard on her. It's going to test her. She might get out more leniently, or it's just going to take a while to get to her. What I get is there's just so damn much litigation that this family, collectively and individually, are going to wrap our courts up with, that it will be interesting for sure, because we'll be peeling back the layers, but it will also be good to eventually be able just to get through this process and just put this family to bed and just say, you know what? Let's go on when we can do that, because they take up a lot of energy. She really is going to be embattled well into the future in dealing with trying to defend her family, trying to defend herself, and it's going to be exhausting. She will be exhausted to the hilt. It will test her and exhaust her. Her business activities will get looked at. I just think that because, like I said, of the priorities of the litigation and the sheer volume, collectively as a family and singularly as individuals, it's going to be just also costly and time effort wise a lot of hours of legal work going on, to put it mildly. What's shown is just, there is with her because she doesn't have the necessary qualifications for all these offices and all these positions of high wage profession. She, I think, flails. You know, this family routinely grasps for high wage, top CEO, all that kind of crap, because of their greed, but they don't have the know-how to sustain and actually carry out that kind of work. And everything they touch, because they're lazy and they don't want to do things the proper way, is not going to work out. It will go up to a point and then it'll just. So even as she tries to deal with this, what's going to be shown is just their lack of, and her lack of giving a damn about the effect this has on us, and hold your disbelief, society. And this is going to cause a great deal, again, of emotion to erupt within society as we hear more and more about the devious, dark, secret things this family has been up to. Oh, I'm sorry. That are just awful. Just, there's no excuse for doing this. It's just doing the worst because that's what you gravitate toward. That's this family. And I think it will provoke a real emotional response from society. There will be news coming in about the real estate stuff, how she's been involved in that. I believe in these buildings and the money laundering through that. That's when I think they start taking her apart brick by brick of what she's been doing. I believe that will come about, but I think because there is so much, it takes maybe a little bit of a while to get to that, but I believe that they definitely will do it. Yes, most definitely. Anger from society, anger from the community, just people will be like, you know what? And we already are. This can never happen again. And ready to tell government, all of them, no matter what party, you know what? You guys need to listen to us. You're going to have to change this and stop this corporate all this money in politics. This is exactly why. So I'm going to look at Ivanka again. I want to see her fate. So I see into the near future she's going to be exhausted, stressed out with that 9 of Wands to the max, basically. And I think she's going to, it will reflect, I'm getting a flash that it will reflect on her physically. It will make her look more tired, more hardened, and less easy to look like you've gotten good rest, you're doing fine. Right now, though she's concerned and all that because her family is in power, though they're worried, they're still in power, and they're not on the other side of this having to wait with what hits them. Wait till they're on that, and they will be. They will be. It's coming. So let's look at Ivanka and her fate. Does Ivanka end up in prison? Will she do any prison time for her own financial business illegalities? Will Ivanka, Donald Trump's daughter, do time in prison for her crimes? Will Ivanka do prison time for her crimes? Will Ivanka do prison time for her crimes? Okay, we get the card of cruelty covering this atmosphere. This right away is making me feel like there's been so much cruelty that this family has done. All the way with babies in cages at the border, trying to cut Social Security, cutting education, gutting things, gutting regulations for our environment. The point has all been cruelty. Tell us something we don't know. So this isn't her atmosphere. Her atmosphere is toxic. It's another thing it tells me. Because the first card is the atmosphere that the individual has. And what crosses is the the Page of Wands. Information. This is information. News, word, communication, and activity. But more in the beginning stages, trying to start something. Oh boy. Yeah, she's going to be on the hot seat for sure. This is the 7 of Wands. And in the past, as a basis, she's been in a position to be able to hold off, I believe, people trying to hold her to account. And she's been able, I think, to suppress information and activity where her criminality is concerned. She's really got a very naive attitude because she is crowned by the Page of Cups. She lives in her own dream world, Barbie dream world. I don't mean to be, well, you know what, I really don't care. Yeah, I'm being glib. Today I feel a little glib about it. She's just not a grown up in many respects. Again, because of the privilege that she's grown up with. Just does not give her, you know, good sense. She just doesn't have a good basis. In the recent past, she has the Queen of Swords. So, now because we're looking at like prison, we're looking at obviously what would be a future point. So, we have to consider the fact that we are looking at what will then have been at any point in the future, what will have already be going on, okay? So what will be in concern to this question, it looks like there is a female that she will have been in contact with. This could be a lawyer, this could be somebody in government questioning her, that kind of thing. Now, I believe that she's going to be pushed on questions, legal questions that have been kept, that she's been able to suppress the information about and to keep the information from coming out. Ooh. But I also feel like this could be somebody in her midst that she feels this woman is being particularly cruel to her. She might even be threatening to, could be a little blackmail going on there with this female. Because I'm feeling like this is a female, and it could just be Ivanka's attitude of, she's being mean to me. But I feel like this person she's holding a book. I feel like she has information. I feel like she has some kind of hard copy evidence. And Ivanka feels like there is a cruelty in the atmosphere connected to this woman to do with information that she might share that has been kept suppressed. And that Ivanka's been able to keep suppressed. It's some kind of detail. Now I don't know that this woman's really being all that mean to her. It could, again, we're looking at it from Ivanka's head and how she sees things. She's going to, in her mind, there is regret. And there is loss. And she's going to be depressed. And just in grief, not for the losses that their family have caused society, but for their families' loss of profit, loss of money, and in particularly 3 people that I believe are going to be looking at prison. That certainly would be her father. Caught up in legal stuff. Certainly her husband. And I believe definitely Don Jr. Those three gonna be on, I think, the hot seat first. And Ivanka will get her turn. I do believe she will get her turn. And that's what is where I think maybe this Queen of Swords energy, the questioning, and the proof coming in. This could be like an Attorney General type of energy here that is questioning her. Maybe she feels like, ooh, this is mean. Unless it's actually somebody that does have this information and on top of all of this is also trying to blackmail her from giving that information to an attorney general or someone like that. I'm not sure. But she's going to not be in a very... She's going to be worried about her children. She's going to have to be worried about her own children. That's unfortunate. I wish that they would have valued... I just don't think that they ever believed that their family would ever face consequences. And in her environment are memories. People will remember, especially with the children at the border, what this family has done and caused the deaths of children at the border through not, handling the COVID virus the correct way to begin with. Just everything and everything, She's going to be concerned about her kids, her children. And what she fears is the Hierophant. Or what she hopes for. But I think more like fears. I think she fears being held to the same rule of law that applies to everyone else. The rules of society. And having that scrutiny and intensity put upon her own activities. Being told you've done things wrong. And not just that, but like, there's a consequence for you. She doesn't want that. End result card is Strength. So it will challenge her in a way that she's never had to be strong before. And I do think she could go to prison because Strength is about control that steps in firmly to take control of a part of the self or a situation that is out of control, that just runs over the top of everything, that is impulsive, that is much more animalistic in the sense of our nature. It's using a more enlightened part of yourself rather than just reacting. But in this case, I feel like it is the consequence at the end of the day of some greater energy coming in to put an end to an out of control activity, involvement, behavior that needs correction. Correction facility. It's an end. It is an end. It is an end. This is the Death card. And this is the Ten of Swords. It is an end to the life that she has lived and known. I don't think that Ivanka is going to act, eventually one day, of course, she'll pass away. But I think that this is talking to about the end of their power that they abused and caused tremendous harm with. And they will not, there is death tells me, and has been telling me, that they don't realize that they are not the ones who are more powerful in this world, that there are other things more powerful than them. Death is one of them, and that death will come for them and end their business, will end the money and all of the shit that they've gotten away with. It will end the happiness and the exploitation that for 4 generations have gone on. It's a real reckoning, folks. And I believe that she will serve some time. For reals. For the trickery and abuse of her fame and abuse of this lifetime, where she could have used her fame to do something good. But she chose to pick up the tools and to follow that. It was her own free will. And you can say, yes, the deck was stacked against her. It definitely was. But you know what? At the end of the day, just like in my dream where Trump was asking for sympathy, and for a moment, I did feel sympathy, but what I felt sympathy was that he made all these bad choices because it hurt so many people and how deeply it hurt people. And I realized and could feel also how he just didn't care about, he still didn't care about any of them. The sorrow was solely for himself, and he was seeking more sorrow for himself. And it was like, F you. And I felt like the universe was taking a vote. And especially when my daughter told me, my youngest told me that she also had that dream, and she never told me that she'd had it. So it was like, oh man, you're kidding. I am telling y'all, this family, and the life they have lived, they will be held accountable for it. And it will not be quick and convenient and just done like that. No. There's a time to process them, and that there's so much crime, so much litigation, and Ivanka, girl, you don't get off the hook. So at some point, I do believe that she will have to do some time. She will have to come under the some sort of greater control than what she herself would do for herself, because she doesn't want to do it. She looks at it as being mean to her. I mean, it's like she still doesn't get it. She still cannot make the emotional connection to the pain and the suffering that has gone on in the world because her and her family. So what can you do with that? That gives you nothing to work with her. The only way she's going to get it, and even still, it's sorry for themselves. It's being sorry for themselves, and I don't know if they're ever going to get it. You're asking for empathy in a narcissistic family. You won't get it. Eric is next.